Paranormal investigation is sort of the art or science of trying to obtain answers from the other side that people want to ask. We're trying to find the connection, hopefully, to give to our clients who are concerned about what might be going on within their home. I would call myself, for this team, I'm a director. For this particular team, which is a science-based team, I'm the one that basically allocates what people do during an investigation, and allocate the leads and how they're going to handle things and what experiments we might have that evening, and to help collect the evidence, go through the evidence, discern through the evidence what is good. And when we go to a call, one thing we want to do is we want to ascertain what physical rationale there could be for their reasons.
Occasionally this piano goes off on its own, hearing tapping at night, they're getting smells through the ducts happening, general sensation of having people looking at them. Maybe possibly the spring tension or the weight tension of these. Maybe some of them might just go off on their own from noise or pounding on the ground.
We go there, and besides setting up our equipment, we'll send a certain amount of crew running around to do base reads.
All right, so I want to be able to catch something. We got to be able to document what's coming in and out of this room. But one of the things that the client's been talking about is, over the years, been seeing a lady walking up and down the stairs. This is something that's pretty common to paranormal investigation, as you know. But we do need to get this. So maybe if we can get a camera at the top of that stairs, looking down this way, and maybe another one over on the piano that can document this area here. It'll document if anybody walks in and out of these rooms.
And then from there, we go through the investigative procedure of a sweep where we go through and we do EVP sessions, allowing enough time so that the paranormal activity can answer those questions that we can review later upon analysis.
I haven't really received anything that impresses me yet. Nobody's seen anything, nobody's felt anything. There's no significant spikes of EMF. And all the EVP sessions have come up kind of clean. I'm starting to doubt whether you're here, and I really don't want to come back to the family and tell them that they're going crackers. So if you can give me an answer, please. Any talking pictures?
No.
Do you think maybe you could maybe push one of us? Give us a good shove. This is getting really annoying. You know that? You know what? I'm going to recoup a little bit here, and a little shaken up by this, to be honest with you. So, you know, maybe when now that the energy is all bogged up in us, this would be an awesome opportunity for a solo.
Okay, my name's Sandy and I'm a paranormal investigator, and I'd like to speak to any spirits that may be here. I may not be able to hear your voice now, but I have a recording device that when I play it back, I may hear your voice. Is there a message you have for the family that lives here?
You might have a spirit or something that walks in, sits down, and does the same thing 30 times a day, or it does it once a day, and you just happen to catch it. To me, I happen to think that this is possibly a spirit that, if you think about it, if you die in a car crash, and it's so instantaneously, you know, you're like this. And now you're coming into a home, right? Maybe you're just coming home. You're dead, and you don't know it. And you're trying to speak to somebody there. And you can imagine how frustrating that must be. I mean, you're screaming your fool head off until eventually, you know, you might get enough that you can move something, possibly. And that's when you start getting the ones that are a little more physical. Unless the spirit's being rambunctious and rude, maybe it wants to stay too, right? It might have been their home.
Okay, girls, I think tonight's been a pretty good success. Managed to get fell down the stairs. So let's turn the lights on and get things going.
That's good.
I'm for Halloween, a group of paranormal investigators has been searching through the dark and damp basements of some of Chatham's most historic buildings. Chris Campbell with the story.
The Canadian Haunting and Paranormal Society, or CHAPS, have been investigating Chatham, a city with a rich history. This past weekend, the group unveiled some of their findings from places like the Capitol Theatre and the Chatham Cultural Centre. It's there they say ghosts or spirits have been lingering in these buildings for years.
When I started working here, people said, they took me aside and said, just want to warn you, there's stuff that happens here.
Is this about where you hung yourself? One of the great things about doing this, about ghost hunting, is facing your fears head on. And, I don't like spiders, I don't like enclosed places, I don't like the dark. But I go into this and I face it head on.
It's not for everybody. I'll say it's not what you see on TV.
Kevin Davidson from St. Thomas says it takes time, patience, and a lot of passion to do what they do.
What you see on TV is just the best of those 3 days put together.
His most memorable experience comes from Chatham at the Milner House.
There's a plant behind me. The plant started to shake on its own. A curtain moved and a pile of papers right in front of me got kicked over.
Davidson says he was calm but can't see newcomers reacting the same way.
A lot of people, if you're new, if something like that would happen, you would probably turn around and run out of the house. But I think we've done it so long and done so much, we're almost desensitized to it.
But if you're not back in half an hour, I'm calling the cops.
At the downtown Capitol Theatre, they say more eerie occurrences happen.
We asked for something to give it sign to touch us, and then she said all of a sudden she felt this pain. And she got this red mark, like a scratch, like somebody had scratched her neck. But
I'm not about to determine whether or not spirits or apparitions are real, but there is a real-life mummy laying here in the museum. On this location used to be a school, a hotel, springs, and now it's a theater and a museum. If there is a place in Chatham that would have spirits or paranormal activity, this is the place.
That whole neighborhood is the original Chatham, and there's lots of ghosts and spirits all through that neighborhood.
Mike Ondrovich's nerves have been tested at the Cultural Center before.
The hairs on the back of your neck went up, and there was just no explanation, and we quickly left.
People have heard toilets flushing when there's no one there. They've heard the sound of marbles dropping downstairs. Things have gone missing in offices and then shown up the next day. I think it'll finally give some solid proof that there are spirits walking among us.
The members of CHAPS say they've never encountered violent apparitions, but they're up for the challenge. However, the Cultural Center's curator still refuses to go downstairs where the investigation took place.
I've never been down there, and I'd like to keep it that way. But not because I'm afraid of ghosts, because I'm afraid of the stairs.
Sure, that's what she says, it's the stairs. Chris Campbell, CTV News, Chatham.
Well, we were invited here to do an investigation of the Murney Tower in Kingston. Figured we'd bring the team in and see what kind of claims could happen in this building. I know that it didn't serve any wartime, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't something in the area.
So this tower was built in 1846 because of the Oregon Crisis, which was a land dispute on the west coast between the British and the Americans. And the concern was that any conflict in the west could spread east to Kingston because of the history here of the War of 1812 and the American invasion at that point. So we do have a little bit of a history of the tower. In the early 1920s, the roof blew off in a tragic accident and killed a small child in the park. And so that's enough reason to believe that there might be something here because of that. So a coworker and I stayed over a few nights ago now. Apart from it being quite dark and quite cold, it was very neat to be in here. At night, it's definitely a different experience than in the daytime when all the lights are on and there's traffic outside. I don't think it's ever been as quiet in here as about 2 in the morning. At first it was a little creepy, but it's the quiet you kind of get used to, the quiet that eventually turns into peaceful quiet.
Well, we're going to set up a load of diagnostic equipment and camera equipment, and we're going to do some voice phenomena sessions, asking questions and seeing what we can get for the answers that we should hope to listen to on our audio review equipment. So we're going to go back to the office. We're going to take all the compiled information and import them into the computer. We have diagnostic programs on the computer at home that listen to audio and go through video, and we can clean things up a little bit and listen to it. We try to keep our evidence as pure as possible. We're going to take the audio hits that we hear. We're going to filter them and segment them out to test against voice to match and see if it was somebody on the team. And then what we're going to do is we're going to compare that against video, because we do video the team in a third person, so that all your mouths and your movements are all tracked. And then that way we can do further debunking, and that's 85% of our hits are done that way. So in about 10 days after we've reviewed the evidence properly, we should find out what we have here at the Murney Tower.
Station14.ca, your community when you want.
CHAPS is Canadian Haunting and Paranormal Society. We provide paranormal investigations free of charge for people who think that they've been experiencing paranormal events in their home or businesses. We've been doing this for 10 years, and as a team we've done over 400 investigations. Well, first we start with talking to the client to get an idea of what their experiences have been. Then we use a variety of equipment. So we have our voice recorder, which is the heart of any paranormal team. We use cameras with night shot, still cameras, and a DVR system. The voice recorder is your main tool. We'll ask questions. We'll use devices like our meter for recording any changes in EMF, electromagnetic fields, or sudden changes in temperature, and our cameras as well for taking pictures. Because sometimes you can go all evening and you don't think you have anything, and then you go home and you watch video and you listen to audio, and that's like, whoa, what was that? And then you want to go back and kind of just refocus your efforts on maybe just one or two areas, but it could be like a happy memory that they're just reliving over and over again, or it's just a point in their life that they're comfortable and happy and they're just kind of reliving that over and over again. They're just going through their daily routine. You'll see that when you get investigations where someone will say, every day around 4 o'clock I smell this cooking, or I hear somebody walking upstairs. It's probably just something that's just repeating itself in time, just doing its daily routine over and over again.
Canadian Haunting and Paranormal Society, also known as CHAPS. I'm here with Kathy and Dan, and we are up at quite a famous location in the Ottawa Valley called Buck Hill. Now, the thing with Buck Hill is there's a lot of stories. There's no actual documented proof of what happened here, but the story goes that back in the Depression, father came home from working. His wife was frantic, met him at the door, told him that their daughter had run outside to chase the dog that had gotten out. This was in the wintertime, and had not come back. The father apparently grabbed a lantern and went out after the daughter, and nobody made it back.
Some people are drawn to it because they see it on TV and they think it's all, splashy and flashy, and you have a million experiences every night. Sure. And then they come to an actual investigation and realize that's not what it's really about. I think part of that, first of all, is like your mythical creatures like your Sasquatch and your Dracula and your vampires are just that, mythical creatures. But for us, there's the potential, or we think that there's the potential that this is a spirit of somebody that we're connected to. Was it just you and your wife and your daughter? Or was there anybody else living with you? Gunshot? That adds an interesting twist to an investigation, not wanting to get shot. The TV shows, the big ones, large locations, they're there for up to a week. And in that week, they've produced one TV show, 1 hour TV show, take out commercials, 40-minute TV show, 10 minutes of setup, 10 minutes of breakdown, 20 minutes of footage. So the TV show kind of makes it look like it's a lot more exciting on location than it really is.
I'm still scuffed up.
Do you want us to leave? Just leave you alone? Maybe you're tired of people coming up here trying to find you and you just want to rest in peace with your family? It's just interesting to be getting 0.2s and 0.3s when we've been in buildings and we get zeros and it stays at 0, and for this to go up to a 0.2 and 0.3 in the middle of nowhere is kind of interesting. Are you near us? Can you tell me where you are? Maybe you're watching us through the trees? It's kind of like something comes closer and then backs away. And then comes closer. It's like something's curious, and then it backs away. Well, I want to thank you. Maybe you'll come out and talk to us again when we come back in the spring.
We're not Hollywood. We don't do tricks and, tie strings to stuff to make the move. We don't do that. We try and evaluate it and give you an honest opinion of what's going on in your home or wherever.
I'm Dave Gibb, and I've been a paranormal investigator for 20 years. You heard screaming.
Our team does between 60 and 75 investigations a year.
Inmate, if that's you, identify yourself! When they call me, they are legitimately freaked out. They've been touched, or they've heard noises in another room, they've heard talking where there's nobody there.
If the woods could be haunted like a home could be haunted, travesties happened in forested areas.
EMF, electromagnetic fields, are when the current is running through something, it creates a magnetic field. And the theory is that a ghost can give off this magnetic field.
There's something in this area, so I'm not sure if there's something over us, right in this area.
Voice phenomena is really where it comes from. As an audio recorder, hears things that we don't hear. It's as if the spirit speaks at a different level than we do.
On our first investigation, we got my first EVP, which is an electronic voice phenomenon. And I heard the word "what" being whispered in my ear. What?
We want to feel something. We want to feel that charge. I get to go to some of the creepiest places around and just talk to nothing, but nothing sometimes talks back.
If you're in the middle of the woods and there's no electronic sources around you, why is it there? It's a perfect place to start your investigation.
There are myths, there are haunted stories, there are legends, and I want to go investigate this. Everybody's afraid of the woods.
Hey, well, you've got